Howdy, guys. Welcome to night 77 of Big Brother All Stars. And this is Cliff Notes from outside the Big Brother house. Hope y'all had a fantastic Tuesday, a good Wednesday morning to y'all. We've got an episode this evening on CBS. We're going to get to see the veto competition, which involves some sort of a hamster wheel, it sounds like. And we may get to see the luxury competition as well. So looking forward to this evening. But before that, let's talk about what happened last night. Just as a refresher, we've got Enzo as HOH. Cody won power of veto. We've got Nicole and Christmas currently on the block. I think everyone's expecting that Christmas is going to be the one going home tomorrow night. But certainly there was a lot of campaigning occurring overnight, and we're going to talk about it all over the next 15 minutes. So let's get started with the conversations. We'll start off with the in the key room with Christmas talking to the cameras. We got a lot of people talking to the cameras tonight, it seems like. Christmas is trying to figure out what she wants to say to Cody so that he will possibly choose to keep her instead of Nicole. She has decided that she's going to tell him that Enzo has said that he doesn't want to sit next to Cody in a final two, that Nicole won't take him either. So he has to be careful if he wants to keep either one of those for this week, Nicole specifically. I don't think that Cody thinks Christmas would take him to a final two either. And he told the cameras last night while he's sitting out in the hammock that he fully expects that Cody or Nicole, either one, would take him to the final two if they had the chance to do so. So this particular argument, I don't know it's going to work the way Christmas is thinking. I think it's probably a non-starter, but at this point in time, Christmas has to start throwing the Hail Marys, say whatever she can, because I think your chances are extremely small if there's any chance at all. So she'll do what she has to do, and so she's developing her game plan for what she's going to say to Cody later in the evening, and we'll hear that conversation a little bit later. A little bit later, I know y'all are all excited to hear this. So we got a new personal hygiene tip from Enzo, and that's always a dangerous way to start a conversation, right? Now we see Enzo up in the HOH bathroom and uses his deodorant stick as everyone typically, hopefully does. But then he takes a step further. He also uses his deodorant on the bottom of his feet, the soles of his feet, for just a little extra protection. Can't say I ever really thought of that, but I'm thinking that Enzo's online foot stalker must be on cloud nine watching that particular little clip. Maybe he did it just for his stalker, who it seems like he has a little bit of a relationship with, based on his conversations that he had later in the evening with Cody and Nicole as well. So yeah, if you haven't thought it before, deodorant for your feet. Okay, Enzo. All right, later. It's that kind of night, guys. All right, later in the evening, we do have Taco Tuesday. I'm glad to see they're continuing the tradition that we had last season as well. In addition to Taco Tuesday, a little bit later in the evening, the house guest also got, I think they got an 8-pack of beer or 8 cans of beer. So they had two cans of beer each, which makes them happy. They've been asking for alcohol forever. So they got a couple of cans of beer to drink on Taco Tuesday. A little bit after that, Enzo, actually, it's while they're preparing dinner. Enzo talks about, hey, y'all think this is a good final three? How does this sound? He quickly changes it to final four when he realizes that Christmas is in the kitchen with him. But it's too late. Christmas heard it. She immediately calls him out. She's treating it a little bit as a joke, but I can pick up some irritation and some frustration in her voice that she realizes that Enzo is already writing her off and is assuming that she's a non-entity inside this house, and he's only thinking about the final three. So Christmas is a little irritated, knowing what her position is in the house right now. After they get through eating, they're quite bored at this point in time. I'm a little surprised they haven't gotten a deck of cards, some other things to keep them busy. We got it last season. I would have expected them to as well, but nothing that I've seen so far. So they start playing a hide and seek. House is a tough place to hide in, but having said that, Nicole does a fantastic job. I think round 2 or so, when Enzo is looking, she hides in one of the cabinets in the storage room. Enzo and Cody take forever looking. Finally, Enzo goes into the storage room, opens up that cabinet. She yells at him and scares him to death. And it actually is pretty funny. And Nicole's definitely the hide and seek queen for the evening with that particular game. They and everyone's playing Christmas. I think she may have been in, I don't remember where Christmas was. Key room, sorry, she wasn't playing. It was just Cody and Nicole and Enzo. But they played that for a while. Later, Nicole starts complaining about chest pains. This is serious. This isn't kidding around. She starts complaining about chest pains, real tightness, and such. It's to the point, Enzo asked her if it's an anxiety attack, and she says she isn't sure, and she's hoping that she isn't having a heart attack, which is not to be messed with. She's crying. She's asking if a doctor is available. Eventually, she goes to the diary room to be seen, I assume, by a doctor or medic, someone. And she's in there, I don't know, probably close to an hour. And so everyone outside is waiting outside just to make sure she's okay. Feeds in and out a little bit during that time. After a while, after about an hour or so, she finally is out of the diary room, and apparently she's okay because she's in the shower trying to calm herself down and help that out a little bit. So it seems like for the rest of the evening, Nicole is fine, but at least for a while, she was worried, and the house guests were worried, and we as viewers were worried as well. So I'm glad it didn't appear to be anything too serious. We have in the key room a little bit after that, immediately after that. In fact, Cody and Christmas are talking. So Christmas is finally giving her pitch to Cody. We're talking Tuesday night, so this is kind of one of the last opportunities she has. She is telling Cody, she's starting off by saying, look, I'm here for the competitions. I love competing, but I'm also here for my family. That's what it's all about. And I know that you feel the same way about your family, Cody, so I'm doing everything I can to try to save myself. And I hope you appreciate that, understand it's all about family. And Cody's saying, yeah, I get it. She mentions how furious she is with Enzo because she says, he told me after that he would never put me up on the block again after last time. And I think she's referring to week 4 when he was HOH after Kevin pulled himself off the block. He put Christmas up as a replacement nominee. And so she's saying he promised he would never put me up on the block again. And yet he did it. And I'm furious at Enzo. I can't believe he did it. Well, there are only 3 people to pick 2 people out of 3. So, and the veto really, or the HOH really didn't matter as much as the veto does this week. So I still understand why she's quite as furious as she is, but she's continued to push how betrayed she feels by Enzo that he even put her up in that place to begin with. So anyway, she's saying that Enzo also had told her that he was going to vote Nicole out in the Nicole David little issue we had where Christmas and Tyler had voted to send Nicole out the door. She's saying, look, Enzo was going to do it as well. He was in the bathroom. He was all about it. Last second, he ended up flipping back because he didn't want to make Memphis mad. Didn't have anything to do with you, Cody. Didn't have anything to do with Nicole. He just didn't want to make Memphis mad. It's why he flipped, and he hung me out to dry. So once again, he has betrayed me. Enzo just keeps betraying me, Cody, and I'm so tired of it. She also mentioned that Enzo has wanted Nicole out since week 1. Well, Cody has already vocalized that, saying he knows that Enzo has wanted her out since week 1. So I don't think that's new news. But again, Christmas is doing everything she can to throw Enzo under the bus at this point in time. So we've got that. Christmas is also claiming that Enzo, during the HOH pumpkin competition, the basket comp that Nicole won her HOH on, she's saying Enzo threw that competition because he was so comfortable with his standing in the house. He knew he didn't have to win it. And he was leaving everything up to Cody and Nicole to do the dirty work. And he's just sitting back, letting other people do it. It's possible. As close as Christmas was to winning that thing. And of course, she is right. Enzo probably was safe that week, no matter what happened. And so if he did throw it, well, props to him that he got himself into a position where he could throw it. I don't know if he did, but I'll give it as a possibility. She is also saying that Enzo told her to squeeze Cody out of the Knights Move HOH competition that Enzo won. She's saying, hey, Enzo told me to squeeze you out just the same way that you ended up going after me. He wanted to go after you. It just didn't work out because the 2 of us were going after each other so much. She's also saying that Enzo said that he wants to sit with Christmas in the final 2 because he can't beat Cody or Nicole. So Christmas is doing everything she can to throw Enzo under the bus at this point in time. But I just don't think that helps her case at all, since it's Nicole, not Enzo, that's on the block this week. Now, I know what she's trying to do. She's trying to show why she would always choose Cody over Enzo, why she'll do anything possible to keep Enzo from getting to a final 2. And so she's trying to think one step ahead past the issue of Nicole and Christmas. But she's got to get past Nicole first. And I think that's a huge hurdle. It's going to be difficult to overcome. Christmas is saying that she's saying all this to prove how loyal she is by throwing Enzo under the bus. But she's saying, I'm so loyal, Cody. And in contrast to what Enzo has done throughout with regards to betrayal, I will fight in the competitions. I'm not throwing anything. And I promise, Cody, if you save me, I promise I will take you to a final 2, because Enzo's done all this stuff to me. I'm not taking him. I am taking you to the final 2. So that's her pitch, is a promise that she'll take. She says, you don't even have to promise to take me to final 2 or anything. Do whatever you want. I just want the chance to compete. But I'm telling you, I will take you to final 2 if I get the chance. Cody says, all right, he's not really acting all excited about it, but he's not saying no. He's being very non-committal. Christmas continues to argue to Cody that she loves Nicole, but that Nicole can't win because the jury knows she didn't win anything until the end of the season. I don't understand what Christmas is doing right here. Arguing that Cody should keep her over Nicole because Nicole can't beat him. That doesn't seem like the right path to go. All these statements by Christmas of why he should keep her. And yet, really, I think the only argument that's going to work for Cody at this point in time is to say this. I think that Nicole, I think that Enzo both could beat you, Cody, because both have friends in the jury. You know what a great social game Enzo's played. Both of them have a chance of beating you. I don't have the friends that would ever support me enough for me to win the jury. The only guarantee you have to win a final 2 is if you have me instead of Nicole or Enzo on the block. I think that's the only thing that may work for Christmas right now. I don't think that'll work, but that's her only option, I think. Later in the HOH room, Cody is mentioning that Christmas is really good at giving pitches. Enzo says, yeah, I know that. She's got to be throwing me under the bus. I know that that's how she's doing it. Nicole responds, says, look, I'm not going to beg you for your vote, Cody. I know where it's at. I'm not going to beg you. And Cody says, that's cool. That's all I have to hear. We're good. Didn't take much campaigning from Nicole, did it? Everyone at this point is talking. Christmas comes up. They're talking different game topics like, do you tell your girlfriend if an ex hit on you? Would you ever go on a double date with an ex as the other partner with her ex? And I did different little topics, completely non-game related. Christmas got a little upset because they're talking about different hobbies. And as soon as she talked about hers, Cody kind of ignored her, changed the subject. So she got mad and she left. I went to bed at that point in time. Christmas at this point is alone in the key room. She's talking to the cameras. She says she is fighting as hard as she can, but Cody just doesn't give her anything when she talks to him. She can't get a real good read on whether he's buying what she's selling and all of that. She says she's serious about choosing Cody over Enzo after so many betrayals from Enzo. And she's saying she would take him to a final 2. She mentions that he has more comp wins. He has a fantastic social game, but she could fight against all of that in her jury speech. Really? I go ahead and change some water into wine while you're at it, Christmas, because if you could beat Cody at a jury speech at the end of this thing, if the 2 of you are in final 2, that's a grade A miracle in my book. I don't see it happening, but you fight your fight. I'm glad to see that she's going out fighting and not going out with a whimper. So I don't have any problem with it. I just think the likelihood is so minuscule. Christmas is saying that she still has a 25% chance of winning this whole season. Well, just because you're 25% of the people still in the house doesn't mean that you have a 25% chance of winning. Not at this point in time. I don't think you're quite that high at this point, Christmas. All right, so we're in the HOH room. Christmas is gone, so we've got Cody and Nicole and Enzo up there. They're wondering if the final 3, the first part of the competition, which is typically an endurance competition, could be hanging from the ropes that spin around, and I think that could be a possibility. Talk turns to Cody talking about soccer and coaching and then working out in the house. They're talking about a lot of non-game topics. Then they start talking about all the free stuff they get as social media influencers. At that point, they start making fun of Enzo talking about his foot stalker, saying, hey, it may just be a bot that you've been talking with for all these years. Enzo says, yeah, maybe I've been having a relationship with a robot for the last 10 years. Could be. We'll see if he gets some tweets about using deodorant on his feet, and then that may give us some indication. So at that point, talk then turns to the Night Moves HOH competition. Cody is saying, hey, Enzo, Christmas told me that you were going after me on that thing, that you were trying to squeeze me out. Enzo says, nah, I was working with you, man. There's no way I was doing that, Cody. There's no way. So he denies it all. At that point, they call it a night. They say goodnight to everyone else, go off to their different rooms, and lights turn off, and we've got an evening. So that's it, guys. A lot of campaigning from Christmas, just a tiny little bit from Nicole. We shall see tomorrow. Will be Thursday morning, 24 hours. We'll be really close to the eviction. We'll see if anything changes. I doubt it, but we'll see. Y'all have a great one, guys. SKD 143. Cheers, my friends. Bye.